And now, to throw my support to President Trump, the causes were free speech, the war in Ukraine, and the war on our children.
With the Kennedys, says the Spirit of God was spoken of. Now I will join hands between Democrats and Republicans and do an unusual thing, says the Spirit of God. Come on! They will say what they tried to increase, now they are decreasing. And God says it shall be a sign. But even now that the Kennedys have come to this place, I spoke about it, that there would be a massive outbreaking and outpouring in the system, in this nation, the political system. The three enemies that shall rise up and already on their way. I will take them, I will set ambushments against them, they will confound themselves, and this nation shall rise above the occasion and come to oneness with God, says the Lord. Come on!
Hey, listen, I won't disagree with that. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is an old clip from August 2009 from a guy by the name of Kim Clement. All right. So as you guys have heard in the first clip you saw, RFK Jr. has officially endorsed Donald Trump. And I thought about doing a live stream of the press conference yesterday. It's just, as anybody knows with kids, doing something live is quite difficult. All right. But I did record that press conference because I was thinking about just live streaming, but didn't end up doing it. But I think this is absolutely huge. This is massive, and I'll get into that a little bit later in the video. But obviously, Trump brought RFK Jr. out at his rally yesterday, and Trump had this to say. Check it out.
That's why today I'm repeating my pledge to establish a panel of top experts working with Bobby to investigate what is causing the decades-long increase in chronic health problems and childhood diseases, including autoimmune disorders, autism, obesity, infertility, and many more. We want every child in America to grow up and to live a long and healthy life.
That's a cause that I'm with. I don't know about you, but I'm with it because we are seeing an increase in diseases and all types of things, especially in our youth. Including things like obesity, right? It's absolutely mind blowing, you know, like the levels of autism and things. RFK Jr. talked about a statistic yesterday in the press conference where, like, it's like one in like 30 kids in California have autism. Like 1 in 30. That is mind blowing to me. Like, I agree with what he said in that press conference. He said, why isn't this like front page news? Like, why isn't this on every news station every single day? Like that is mind blowing to me. Crazy numbers, absolutely insane. So that's a cause that I agree with. I can always get behind something like that, helping to save the youth. Okay. But I also think this is huge because of the support that RFK Jr. had. Now, did he have massive support? No, it wasn't massive, if I'm just being completely honest, but he did have a strong base. And this is how some of the folks in his base are responding. Check out these couple of video clips. I don't want to play all of that music. Yeah. Put up that Trump flag, baby. Put up that Trump flag. Fine. Trump, baby. Harris Waltz. So that was one of the clips. Here is another one of RFK Jr.'s former support or still supporter and what they had to say about him dropping out and endorsing Trump.
You know, we have some newbies hopefully joining the Trump movement, and they're coming from the Kennedy camp. I want to introduce you to Caesar. Caesar, also a young American voter. You can see he's got the Vote Kennedy Shanahan. And you know what? There are rumors that potentially Kennedy could come out and endorse Donald Trump today. Now, if that is the case, would you then change your vote from Kennedy to Trump?
Yes, I think anything that we can do to get Kennedy in a higher position is worth it. I believe any decision that Kennedy makes, it comes from an enlightened place. So he has my full confidence and support in anything he decides to do.
The man has a beautiful heart. I will absolutely say that. And Shanahan, his running mate, she is very well connected. She's from the Silicon Valley. Very smart woman. I hope that that is the case today, and we could find out in just hours if Kennedy is going to endorse Trump. It was hard to see his family turn their backs on him when he ran as independent.
I would say in terms of the family, there's 103 Kennedys. Only 5 of them said that they didn't support him, and 3 of those 5 are working for the Biden administration. So I think that was just a headline.
And that's a tough part, though. I mean, what's thicker than water? Blood, right? That's what I would imagine. So very interesting how things have played out at this point in this election cycle. It has been one for the history books, one that...
Absolutely, it's one for the history books and will be a major one for the history books because RFK Jr. supporters coming over to Trump's team, I think, absolutely secures a Trump victory. And I know some people are having a little cause to pause, and I completely understand that. I'm not oblivious to that fact because I know some of you are going to comment that. At the end of the day, the buck stops with Trump. So I'm not too concerned with RFK Jr., messing anything up. And from what I heard from RFK Jr., I agree with some, a lot of the things that he was talking about, at least in his press conference yesterday. Especially mainly the epidemic with diseases amongst our children. I 1,000% agree with that. 1,000%. And I don't disagree with Trump putting him with a group of guys, a group of scientists to figure out exactly what is happening. He's not the vice president, right? He's not some people have suggested be the head of the CIA or something like that, which I'd prefer to close it, right? But I would understand why he would be the head. I would be completely against that either, considering who RFK Jr.'s family members are. I would not be totally against that either, because I get the sense that RFK Jr. knows he's been slighted by this system the same way Trump has, and he's going to be a bull in a china shop too. That's the feeling that I get. Could I be wrong? Yeah, sure, absolutely. I can most definitely be wrong. But more importantly, RFK Jr. joining the Trump train, I think absolutely secures this thing. And you are starting to hear mainstream media slightly sprinkle it in. Now, I don't think that they will continue this rhetoric. I think this was just spur of the moment, in the moment. They said something. But once they get their marching orders, all of this is going to change. And you're going to start hearing stuff like RFK Jr.'s voice is terrible and then you can't even understand him or something like that. You're going to hear he's an extremist or he's a Trumper, which he isn't. Okay, he is not a Trumper. He is a Democrat, right? Let's not mince words. He's a Democrat. But hey, desperate times call for desperate measures sometimes, right? So I'm all for a unity ticket where, we bring Democrats and Republicans on board with one another and independents, right? Because that's who RFK Jr. was pulling. And we all get on board this Trump train and save this country, right? But I want to show you guys this clip because it is very, very interesting that they actually showed this on CNN.
First time. Today, RFK Jr. had suspended his campaign endorsing Trump. Kennedy telling reporters that Trump had asked him to, quote, enlist him in his administration. Now, the latest swing state polls show Kennedy with 5 or 6% of the vote. And so when you think about it overall, you may say, well, that's not a big deal. Actually, if that is the case in swing states, it is huge. It is everything. It is more than the margin between Harris and Trump in some of those same states.
When you have mainstream media admitting, yeah, that's actually huge, I think you got a problem. Now, like I said, I don't expect them to keep this up. I don't expect them to keep this rhetoric. Once they get their marching orders, I expect it to change. Even MSNBC admitted that these polls aren't accurate. They didn't tell the whole truth, but they told enough of it to where, because I've been saying that these polls are off, right? I've been saying that. I've made several videos on it. So to hear them actually come out and say at least part of the truth, it lets me know I was right.
In fact, the top super PAC associated with the Harris campaign has let it be known to some reporters that their internal polling is, in their words, a little less rosy than some of the public polling. Some other Democratic polling firms that I've talked to in the last couple of days say the same. They say the battleground states are.
Now he goes on to say, they say the battleground states are virtually tied.
Virtually tied.
Really? Really? But you just said it was less rosy. See, like he mixed in some truth, but then tried to cover it with a lie. How are the battleground states tied? Kamala was only up in Michigan and I believe Minnesota, maybe Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, maybe those three. And you just admitted, and I think he caught himself, but you just admitted that inside pollsters for the DNC told you, several of them, more than one, that it's not as rosy as the polls that are out. What does that mean? It means I was on the right track when I was telling you guys, don't believe these polls. They're there to demoralize you. They're there to make you feel as if Trump has no shot at winning. They're there to make you feel like this battle is lost. And it isn't. It's far from over. And now that RFK Jr. has dropped out and thrown his full support behind Trump, it's game on. Because you just heard CNN admit there. That's huge. RFK Jr. Now, if I'm being completely honest, I don't expect a huge swing in the polls. All right. I expect a 1 to 2 point swing, if I'm being completely honest about things. So wherever Trump was previously, I expect a 1 to 2 point swing further into Trump's favor. I don't expect like he gets a 5-point swing. Oh my goodness, he's got an 8-point lead on Kamala. Like, no. I expect a 1 to 2 point swing. 1 to 2 points. If I'm being realistic, and anything over that, would I be excited for it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because as we know, Trump underperforms in polls and overperforms when it actually comes to the election. So wherever he is in the polls, he's going to outperform that because of something that he said a long time ago, and that's the silent majority. And I still do believe that there still is a lot of silent Trump supporters. So good news, man. Good news. I'm all for it. Welcome on board, RFK Jr. supporters. Happy to have you. The independents, the Democrats that were supporting RFK Jr., welcome to the Trump train. We welcome you with open arms. Like I said, happy to have you. And let's go win this thing. Let's save this country. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.